The third heuristic, so we talked about these attractor landscapes. So if you're in a situation where there's only one attractor, you're pretty well off, and you can do this sort of exploitation and using the knowledge you have and utilizing that when as long as you keep an eye on changes that might make what you're doing now very stupid or dangerous or ineffective. So things that would move you into the complex domain. If there are many attractors, that's still the case, but you might need a lot of expertise to look at, okay, so where is the system going next? And in this panel P, there are no attractors, so you have this sort of a somewhat chaotic or unpredictable random movement across the terrain, in which case you might want to produce some actions that stabilize the system so that you can get a grip on the situation. But the thing is that if the landscape is moving, and if it's moving very fast, then you really need to do this constant explorations to try and things that work and constantly be on the guard that past data probably won't be a good indication of future events. And also now the fourth heuristic, sort of talking about not where you imagine you might want to be. So this is also something that Dave Snowden often talks about. So in this grid, you have the panel A, which is your current state now. And so B, C, D, E, F, and G are your adjacent possible states. So there are some nearby opportunities that you know what they are because they are so close to you in temporally and or spatially or in the system's terms somehow that you can see what lies if you do that action, if you move that way, what will happen. So let's say that the F and G, the orange ones, those are negative places, and the blue ones are positive expected result. And you can move to B or C because the way to D and E is actually blocked. So you might see that, oh, okay, I can move actually first to C and then to D. Or you might, but you have to remember that everything marked H is like an unknown terrain. So by the time that you move to C, there might be new opportunities. So you might not want to go to D anymore. And if this landscape keeps on shifting all the time, then it might be stupid to make a goal that, oh, I want to go to this place here, because first of all, you don't know if it's desirable by the time you get there. But if you start moving to the direction, it might turn out that it's just impossible to go through here, and you might have to try some alternative route. And when you're doing that, you need to be wary that actually there might be some better opportunities and better goals that expose themselves as you move forward in the terrain. And I'll give an example of this, which we did in our behavioral science advisory group in the Finnish Prime Minister's office. So it was late 2021, and we had been predicting the upshoot of the Delta epidemic for many months already, but still all the uh, precautionary action was being demolished on the grounds that people are tired, sick and tired of restrictions. So now should be the time to go and enjoy life. But no one would care to actually define who are these people. Are they everyone or just some uh, portion of the population? What does it mean to be sick and tired? And are they really sick and tired of everything pandemic related, or might they be sick and tired of some facets but not others? So this is what we did. We did surveys and interviews to better understand the survey results. And one thing uh, you can do is if you have the theoretical background, you can look at, okay, so uh, what where do people's attitudes place in some grid that makes sense? So here we show perceived easiness on the horizontal scale. So how easy do people think that doing this behavior is? And on the vertical scale, you have how effective or ineffective people think that this self-enactable precaution is. And what you would want to do is, I have the arrows there. So you would want to take each of those quadrants and push them to something where effective things are actually also perceived as effective, and they are made easy enough so that people can actually carry those things out. So what we found was that people were mostly sick and tired of avoiding contact. So especially young people were not very keen on doing this, and which is quite understandable. But we also found that travel restrictions weren't that big a deal. Masks weren't that big a deal for people, especially if you had a person who had developed a routine to wearing the mask. They really didn't mind using masks. Avoiding public events wasn't that big a deal. And one thing that we were really surprised about was how popular it was, this community-based contact tracing. So what we meant by this is that if you got a positive result from a COVID test, would you then care to call the people you've met in the last couple of days and tell them you get the positive result, so they know that they should also they might want to get tested. And the people really were very, very positive about doing this, and even those who were very, very critical of vaccinations and other factors and were sort of leaning towards the conspiracy end of spectrum with the microchip theories and all of that. But they really also felt quite okay. So if this was recommended, they might do it. A problem we found was with home tests. So people, so this was the autumn of 2021. People thought that, okay, so home tests are both ineffective, unreliable, and very difficult to do. And finally, a very important observation was that people really did not know how most COVID contagions happen, which is by breathing the air that had been in the lungs of an ill person. And when they talked about the ventilation or air purification, they just diverted into speaking about cleaning and cleansing surfaces and washing hands, which are not that scientifically supported measures against infection. But what happened was then that in the end of 2021, the testing system got completely collapsed. People weren't able to get tested, and then also new restrictions had to be put in place because the Delta epidemic happened as we had been saying it would happen, and then we also got Omicron on top of it. And after the new year, then so early 2022, we repeated this survey, and we found that people had now that they had to try the home test. So our recommendation was to, based on our analysis of where we are and where people's attitudes are, our recommendation was to promote right information about the home test and its reliability, as well as communicate the contagion mechanisms and the importance of ventilation and air purification. Neither was really done, but the thing was that home test moved to the top right quadrant. So people suddenly started thinking that it's not that bad after they had tried them. But people still were very confused about the role of air purification and ventilation. So there were a lot of I don't know answers in these questions. And it never really, so we're now talking in 2023, and this never really got fixed ever in Finland.